There's a show that me and Joy have started to watch. It's a fun show. It's one of those, what are those called? Those like mockumentary, like
Mockumentaries.
mockumentaries, um, where it's like something like The Office, something like Parks and Rec. It's Abbott Elementary,
Yes.
and we started watching that like last year or earlier this year, was it?
Um, it was probably in like maybe March or April. I mean, the season was already almost over. We had to catch up,
Hmm.
but we had already heard good things, so we said, "Well, we better check it out and see if it is really funny."
And
And
the,
it is.
and the news that came up, something that I wasn't too aware of. I mean, it's not like major news, but I'm happy for the guy because I think he deserves it. It was William David. He plays the janitor. He's the guy with all the conspiracy theories on the show. That's why I chose this. This is a perfect example of what this guy. This is the janitor substituting for I think maybe a first or second grade class, and he's giving a lesson about the Illuminati. That'll tell you everything you need to know about that character. But the guy who plays him, William David, he is now a regular. I didn't even notice it at first that he wasn't,
Oh, because he's on almost every episode, at least a second or two.
and he's always doing something crazy, and he's one of those guys that steals the scene. And so I assumed he was a regular, but I guess he was almost like what's that guy off of Friends that worked in Central Perk? He's almost like one. It was kind of like one of those characters.
Oh, the one who recently passed away.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, and then where that character wasn't as he was like it's like that nurse that's in Grey's Anatomy. He's always there, very committed, and but you could tell was just a background character, and it felt like maybe they were doing the same thing with Mr. Davis's character, but the showrunners decided to make him a regular. That's good for him. I'm glad about that. Maybe he'll become a teacher instead of a janitor. But I think he's funnier as the janitor. But you said real quick. You said you saw some other news about.
Well,
about,
the Emmy nominations came out,
mm-hmm.
and so the creator, Quinta Brunson,
Mm-hmm.
is nominated for like three different. Well, the show's nominated, her writing is nominated, her acting is nominated, which is she's like the youngest black female to have those
many nominations.
that for a comedy.
Mm.
And
she's also she's the creator of the show. Right?
Yeah, creator, writer.
Mm.
And then also Cheryl Lee Ralph, which plays Barbara, the African American teacher, the older
Yes.
lady that she's thinks of as like her mom figure.
Yeah, the mom type figure.
That she's nominated for her very first Emmy. I mean, she has a lengthy career.
Yeah.
And this is her very first time to be nominated for an Emmy.
That's good. And before I forgot to mention that, so courtesy of Deadline said Abbott Elementary is making Mr. Johnson a full-time employee. Veteran character actor William Standord Davis, who's recurring heavily on the first season of Abbott Elementary, has been promoted to a series regular on an upcoming second season of the breakout ABC workplace comedy from Warner Brothers TV. He will continue as Abbott's eccentric custodian, Mr. Johnson. So that came in from Deadline. So that's good news. But on top of that, but real quick before we move on to the next topic, you said there was some other news that popped off real quick.
Apparently today or yesterday, the ABC and Quinta Brunson, the creator of the show, are both being sued for copyright infringement because a young lady is claiming that they stole her idea. That she presented a script back in 2018 to two producers.
Okay.
To two producers who presented it to Hulu,
Okay.
who rejected it.
Okay.
And she says she copyrighted the script
Doesn't
in
matter.
2020, and then this show was produced in 2021.
And the show
However,
just came out.
the two producers don't have anything to do with ABC or anything to do with the show. They're just two other producers. So it's like there's really no connection between the two. Like, it's not like these two producers are on this show that you could be like, oh, well, I see the connection.
Well, I'll tell you exactly how it works, why there's already a hole in this person's story, because you don't just walk up to a producer or a director or anything, even if you know they're a showrunner, and say, here, read my script. That's not how it works. for this exact reason. You take, and this person should know better, should know this. And if you don't know this, if you're an up and coming writer or you want to create a show, you don't just walk up to a director or walk up to a producer. You don't just walk up to Steven Spielberg and say, "Here, read my script." And then like back in the 70s, and then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, there's a movie called E.T. comes out, and you're like, "Oh my God, Steven just stole my idea." Like, no, you have to go through entertainment agencies and things like. They are the ones who present new scripts and new ideas. Because studios have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of scripts just sitting on the shelves. And trust me, the odds that you created something brand new that isn't already sitting on one of those shelves.
This idea here isn't a new idea.
It's not a new idea, exactly.
Teachers on TV land that we
Teachers.
saw
The
was
fact
very
that it's a
similar.
mockumentary, like based on like an Office and things like that.
That's not anything that's not been done.
It's exactly. So the odds of you creating a new project or new TV show that isn't one way or maybe one scene or something, or the concept of something that isn't already being worked on or hasn't been worked on hundreds of times, it's just never been greenlit until maybe this time with this script. Let me put it like this. Let's say, for example, for the sake of argument, that she's 100% correct, that they stole her idea. The studios can go to the archives and find any little script that they want to cover their butts and go, "No, this is based on this project that we paid for a long time ago." Because you didn't go through the proper, if you went through the proper channels and presented it through your agency, and the agency presents it, then you would get more covered. But if you just go straight to the producer, that's why they don't take things. You don't handle, it's like Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, don't hand me anything. Because I might be working on a project that's similar to this, and then you're like, I handed him my script and he stole it. So don't, just long story short, I know, too late, don't do that.